Your body knows how to be healthy. I'm your host, Martha Blessing, and this is the Place to Be Free podcast, a show that is passionately devoted to illuminating the potential within you to transform your health and life. We're shaking up and breaking up old paradigms so you can free up your mind and body, elevate your consciousness, and create profound well-being and a ridiculously happy and healthy life. On this show, we defy the norms and embrace a journey toward profound well-being and creating true freedom. We challenge patriarchal medicine, question fear-based culture, and dive deep into topics like quantum healing, energy medicine, mental science, consciousness, and universal spiritual laws. Whether you're here for solo explorations or the insightful interviews with individuals who've conquered fear and disease and broken through limitations, you're in for a transformative experience. If you're seeking empowerment, if you're ready for a life-changing shift, you're in the right place. Welcome to the podcast. Hi, I'm Martha Blessing, and this is the Place to Be Free podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. I am super excited to have Chyanne Bone back on the podcast again. It's been a little while. I don't know, a year, 2 years? How long has it been?
Oh, time is going by so fast. I believe it's been about a year and a half. Let's put it right in the middle there.
Yeah, it's been a while. So for those of you listening, if you haven't heard the previous episodes of the podcast with Chyanne Bone, I will leave those in the show notes and you can go back and listen to them. But Chyanne is an energy healer. She is a life coach. She's a spiritual guide. She is a very gifted energy intuitive. And she also works daily. She is one of the people that has the best understanding of using universal laws and how to apply them in our lives. And so I wanted to have her back on because number one, I get tired of hearing myself talk on the podcast about the laws. And she brings such a great perspective and so many insights into using them. So today we are going to talk about the law of cause and effect. You've heard me talk about it, but now you're going to hear Chyanne explain it and a couple of examples, right, in how we're using it. So give us like the condensed version of how you interpret, right, law of cause and effect. What is it?
Certainly. First of all, I just want to say I'm very happy to be here and very happy to be hosted on your podcast. This is such a wonderful place to express ourselves and really get the information to the people that could really benefit from this and really be helped by this. So thank you for having me here. All right, let's get on to the law.
Yeah, thank you.
So the law of cause and effect. You're welcome. The law of cause and effect states that everything is an effect caused by a cause. So we often think that, oh, our life is all of these things and the causes are here and, I have to change the effect. That's actually backwards. First comes the cause, then comes the effect. And the cause is always internal. We always think that this is being done to us and that there's things happening to us, and that's not entirely true. Everything is caused by the internal. When we shift inwards, that's when we can change the cause and get a different effect in our life.
Yeah, so it's not right because it's really easy to, I've done that many times in my life, and I know you and I have had conversations, right? That whole like victim, everything's happening to me and it's terrible, and you can go into a downward spiral into that energy and think that you're a victim to the universe. So basically what you're saying is, no, we're creating everything and we are the cause. And if we don't like the effect that we're experiencing, like the results is the effect. If we don't like that, then we have to look at how did we cause it? Is that
Yes.
basically, yeah, okay, okay. So give us an example of how you have applied law of cause and effect in your life. People are used to me talking about it as far as like healing and things like that. But if somebody's not looking for healing, tell us an example of how you've used it, the benefit.
All right. So, a great example of cause and effect used in my own life is how I purchased my house. So, to give a touch of a background, I was living in a basement suite. I felt no expansion, and I just really wanted to be on my own, in my own place. And I did not have a down deposit to get me there. But I did know the universal laws. So I knew that cause and effect was the universal law that I need to put in action. So what I started to do was I understand that the cause is internal. I have to change the cause to get a different effect in my life. So I started imagining, this is the fun part about this law. It's a lot about using your imagination, and I encourage you to not shy away from that because it's probably the most powerful part of this law. So I started creating a house in my mind that would be really, really good for me to be in. I imagined how many bedrooms it would have. I imagined what the kitchen that I like what would it be like? And then I started actually looking at houses online. I contacted my realtor and I was like, I need to get into some of these houses so that I can spatially see what I'm actually going to put into my imagination. So my realtor was super excited about this. He's like, absolutely, let's go look at houses. And then it was about
The
the,
down payment, right? Like you didn't have a down payment, you just were doing it,
I had no down payment whatsoever, but I know that the universe will bring me what I want.
right?
That's why these laws are so amazing, because if you abide by them, the universe will never let you down. It will always bring you what you're asking for. What your cause is, it will bring in the effect. So I get to the house, I found the one I wanted, and then the imagination really needs to come in. Every day I was imagining myself getting up and going to that kitchen and making my coffee. Then I was imagining playing with my dogs in that environment and where my stuff was going to go. Where was my couch? Where was my piano? Where was my healing room and office? And I really just started engaging my imagination and putting myself there and switching to gratitude, because gratitude advances everything fast. So I kept saying, thank you, universe, for allowing me to have this beautiful house. Thank you for letting me find the space that I've been so like asking for, and that's going to bring me that expansion in my life. And I just kept saying, thank you, universe. Thank you, God, spirit, source, whatever word
Yeah.
you decide that works for you. And I just kept saying, thank you, thank you. And I kid you not, Martha, 3 weeks goes by and I have the money in my account. I am
Yeah, and so
able
you
to.
didn't, that's important, right? You did not go into the how, like you didn't let the how and not having the down payment stop you, because that's where a lot of people, they'll go through their process, but then they'll go up in their head and they'll think about, well, I don't have the money, so there's no point in going to look at the house, right? You
Right.
didn't do that. You just went with changing.
Changing the internal. I seen myself in that house every single day. And I just kept saying thank you. And the fact that I didn't have the money actually made this a lot easier because I didn't know how. I couldn't put the bricks together to figure out the how. So I was just able to just be in there and just show me how good this can get, universe, because I've got to trust you in this. I don't know how to make this happen, and this is what I want.
Right, right. You're in a feeling of joy, like gratitude and joy, like you were actually becoming the frequency. Is that the cause that you were becoming the frequency of the joy of living there?
Yes, and the expression of my inner happiness of what it would be like if I did get that house
Yeah.
without the struggle, without the back-breaking labor and trying to work myself, 20 hours a day, without all of that. See, the cause set in motion is what brings the effect into your life. So I talked about this. I got excited about this. I did not listen to anybody who told me that this wasn't possible. If that came into my awareness, it just reflected right back out. I didn't have time to have that disappointment and negative energy in my mind. It had to stay focused, because the one thing that I don't think is talked about enough about this law, Martha, is that negative energy, doubt, fear, scarcity, lack, all of those things are also causes set in motion. So our thoughts are cause set in motion. And depending on which one you hold on to, and fear and doubt and worry is one that we're used to a lot more than the excitement, the gratitude, the imagination. So we tend to go towards the fear, doubt, and worry and hold on to it. And then we're like, oh, we didn't get it. Well, yeah, exactly. Which cause?
Think that you would. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the universe is, I mean, the media and things like that, like we're so programmed to be in doubt and worry and fear.
Yes. And it's comfortable to us, like familiar. I should use the word familiar, because it's not that comfortable to be in fear, doubt, and worry. It sucks pretty bad, right?
Yeah, I love that story. What's you work with clients teaching the laws, and for those of you listening, Chyanne has a course that she offers in working with the laws, and I'll leave a link to her website so that you can look at that. But tell us an example of like one of your clients, somebody that you've helped, and how they've, through you teaching them the laws, how they have changed their life.
My favorite example. I have a client that was given an extreme diagnosis that, to the average human in today's society, would take it as a death note. They would start preparing for the end. It was very significant. And this specific client knew that his life was not over yet, that there was just too much that he was not willing to leave behind and not experience in this world. So he joined my online program, my mentoring and coaching program, and he said, teach me how these laws work, because I need something to grab onto. And I listened to you talk about how you don't really fully have to understand them. You just have to believe in them and give them your best, and the universe will bring you those results. So it was the next day we jumped into it. We went full bore. Like I am so passionate about these universal laws because they work. Whether you know them or not, they are always working in your life. And that's such a beautiful thing to me. There's not an overwhelming amount of them. So anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So we talked about these laws, and I said the fear, doubt, and worry cannot creep in. We have to be so solid on what you actually want, because we're going to set this cause in motion to get the effect that you want. So we set in his mind that he was already healed, that he was healthy and strong, and we concreted this into his mind that this was the cause and the effect was on its way. It's the whole law. You can't just have a partial law. So once we set that in motion, the effect is already on the way. So then it becomes fun and exciting, because, in a situation like that, it is nerve-wracking. But if you can just let go of the negative side of it and stay focused on the positive side, because it's coming, it's a universal law, then it's like, oh, thank you, God, source, universe. Like, thank you for letting me experience my grandkids' weddings. Like, Thank you for letting me be there and be healthy enough to experience them graduating, or whatever the situation may be. I will not allow this diagnosis to grip my mind. I am healthy. I am strong. Thank you for the effect you're about to bring into my life. Now, although this was not easy over his journey that he has been taking, he never varied from it. So now we are a year later, and his diagnosis is changed. His the things going on in his body have started to disappear and shrink, and they are preparing him for the last stage, which is a minor surgery, and he's good to go. So something that could have easily.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Sorry,
the
go
thing
ahead.
is, so let me ask you this, because I mean, obviously, a lot of people receive diagnoses that are life-threatening, and a lot of people don't like take a pause or don't stop to, number one, they don't know about the laws, but number two, they don't really stop, like you leave the doctor's office and you're in this horrific fear, and they deliver this, life-threatening information to you. What would you say to the person who would say, well, that's just all magical thinking? Like I could never do that, or I wouldn't do that because, what if it doesn't work? Or what if, right? So how is cause and effect different from magical thinking?
How is cause and effect different than magical thinking? So magical thinking is just hoping and sending it out there without any backing. When you're just hoping, there's still a belief, there's still an internal part of you that doesn't believe that it's going to happen. There's still, you're like, well, like if I get better, that's great. And in the back of your mind, you're going, no freaking way.
Yeah,
This
right.
is it.
So the fear comes in, the doubt and the worry and the fear. Yeah.
Yes. And when you align with the universal laws, these things have been tried, true, and proven since, like, Marcus Aurelius wrote about
Yeah.
them, like the Roman Empire. Like, this is not a new thing. There is proof upon proof upon proof that these laws work. So when you align with the universal laws, there's something internal that already knows that it's true. So even if your mind is starting to go into the chaos and the fear, when we hear real truth, our soul wakes up a little bit. So it's like, if you're just learning about the universal laws, you might be going, I don't really get it, but something inside me knows that it's true. And that energy, that conviction changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That resonates. That's really important. Right? That conviction changes everything. That makes a lot of sense. Like that's exactly right. In magical thinking, there's no conviction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I love it. That's so good. Um, so anything else you want to share with us or tell us about cause and effect? Anything that comes to mind? And if not, that's okay too. Um,
Oh, cause and effect. Like, I encourage my students, like, just start small. Just say, like, in the morning, like, I would really like somebody to smile at me today. Thank you, universe, for that smile I'm going to receive. And then go out in your day with the expectation it's going to happen and take notice. You're probably going to get more than one because the universe really likes when we start working with it. So then you have your own proof. You can build up your own proof little by little, and then your belief system gets a lot stronger. So when you go after the big things like a house or changing a diagnosis, you've already got all of this little bit of proof built up in your own world, and it becomes way easier to just open the doors and work with the universe like that.
Makes so much sense. Yeah, thank you for that. I'll share something, right? I think this is very related to it, right? Something came up in my life the other day, and it was around money, manifesting and money, right? And someone that was supposed to pay me, several $1,000s, who had an agreement and whatever in a contract, didn't pay me. And at first, right, like, you can think about triggers. What made me think of it is what happens, like, we have to keep the triggers out of when we're focused on cause and effect, because there was a time where that would have really triggered me and upset me, right? And it did for a little while. I got a little bit annoyed, but then I was just like, oh, you know what, whatever, just let that person go on their way, because I don't want to invest all of my energy. And, like, I could have gotten an attorney involved and do all, but it's like, who wants to go through all of that energy and all of that thinking and all of that, So you and I have talked about what is the truth about this, right? And I was like, oh, I'm like, pshaw, whatever, just let them go on their way. And because when I think of, money comes from God through people, and that's all I had to do was I just had to say, like, it's not a big deal. Money comes from God through people. It's not coming through that person. It will come from somebody else. And literally within 24 hours, it was there. Because I made that choice and that decision, right? Like, I just was like, no, I'm course. It sounds like what we're doing is course correcting.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more. I was hoping you were going to say it, and you did. Money comes from God through people. So when I bought my house, when you got your money, it didn't come from a specific person. It came from God through people. So that is such a big hurdle to get over, from God through people, not from people. So when we release that expectation, that person owed us something. It's like, no, the universe has got me. God has got me. God will bring it in.
And that's the switch in the application of the law. What is the cause? The cause is I've already put it out there, and I already have my desire stated. So it's going to come one way or the other. If I stayed in fear and doubt and trigger and worry and anger, then I was just going to keep getting more of that. That would have been my cause, right? And my effect would have been the same.
Yes. And one other key note is the universe does not take a joke. So if you're just joking about being negative about something, or you're joking that you don't believe in it, but you're saying that you do, the universe listens to the stronger energy. So if you are joking about it being negative and not happening, the universe doesn't take a joke. It goes, okay, you obviously don't want it to happen. If you keep saying that it's not going to happen, I'm not going to bring it to you. So we do have to be quite careful and stay in that positive expectation. The universal laws work whether or not you choose to use them or not.
Yeah.
So that
positive expectation. I love that. Yeah.
Yes. Positive expectation. It's coming.
Yeah, it's not airy fairy thinking. It is managing your expectations.
Yes.
I love that. Positive expectation. That's great. That's great. I love it. Okay, so thank you all for listening. If you want to get more information on Chyanne, her website is ChyanneBone.com, and she will be coming back, and we will be doing a series of talking and teaching about all of the universal laws. So stay tuned, subscribe to the podcast, and you won't miss any of them. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me on another episode of the Place to Be Free podcast. If you found inspiration in our discussions on empowered living, mindset, and spiritual laws and healing, don't forget to subscribe and share the wisdom with your community. Connect with me on social media, and for exclusive content, free resources, and to stay updated on upcoming episodes, visit the website at marthablessing.com/free stuff. Until next time, remember, You're the author of your story. Keep breaking through barriers, defy old worn-out beliefs and patterns, and create a life without limitation. I'll see you in the next episode.